Once upon a time, in a remote monastery nestled deep in the woods, there was a mysterious poker game that took place every year on the night of the full moon. The game was open to anyone who dared to participate, but only a select few were brave enough to accept the invitation. One stormy night, as lightning cracked across the sky and the wind howled through the trees, a group of eager gamblers gathered around the poker table in the monastery's dimly lit basement. Among them was a hooded figure, dressed in a tattered robe, with a long white beard that concealed his face, the monk. The monk was known to be a master poker player, and his skills were rumored to be otherworldly. He rarely spoke and kept to himself, but his piercing blue eyes held a dark and mysterious aura that sent shivers down the spine of those who dared to meet his gaze. As the game began, the tension in the room was palpable. The players shuffled the cards, and the monk dealt the first hand with a steady hand that seemed to defy the chaos of the storm outside. One by one, the players folded, unable to match the monk's unwavering skill. But one player, a young man named Jack, refused to back down. He was desperate to win, as he had come to the monastery with the hope of using the prize money to save his dying mother. Jack's resolve was strong, and he was determined to outwit the monk. As the night wore on, the stakes grew higher, and the tension escalated to a fever pitch. Jack found himself in a final showdown with the monk, with all eyes in the room fixed on the two players. The monk's eyes seemed to glow with an eerie light as he studied his cards, while Jack's palms grew slick with sweat. The monk's expression was inscrutable, and Jack couldn't shake off the feeling that there was something otherworldly about him. With a trembling hand, Jack pushed all his chips into the center of the table, going all in. The monk matched his bet with a serene smile, and the tension reached its peak. As the cards were revealed, Jack's heart sank. He had a good hand, but the monk's hand was even better. Jack's hope of winning crumbled, and he felt a sense of dread wash over him. In a sudden turn of events, the monk's serene smile twisted into a sinister grin. He revealed a card hidden up his sleeve, which completed a perfect hand, and he won the game. Jack stared at the monk in disbelief, but before he could react, the monk's demeanor changed completely. His eyes turned blood red, and his once calm voice boomed with a demonic tone. "Congratulations, Jack," the monk said, his voice sending chills down Jack's spine. "You have won the game, but now you must pay the price." Jack's surroundings shifted as if reality was warping. The monastery faded away, and Jack found himself in a dark, desolate place. He realized with horror that he had made a pact with a malevolent force, and now he was bound to the monk for eternity. The monk cackled as he disappeared into the shadows, leaving Jack alone in the darkness, consumed by fear and regret. From that day on, Jack was cursed to wander the earth, his soul forever trapped in a never-ending poker game with the monk, where the stakes were higher than ever, his own soul. And to this day, the monastery is said to be haunted by the ghostly echoes of their never-ending poker game, with the monk's sinister laughter echoing through the halls as a warning to those who dare to play with the unknown forces that lurk in the shadows. The echoes of Jack's desperate cries and the monk's malevolent laughter can still be heard on stormy nights, as the cursed poker game continues for all eternity. Over the years, many have been drawn to the monastery by the allure of the mysterious poker game, but few have dared to participate. Those who do often find themselves entangled in the same cursed fate as Jack, their souls trapped in an endless game with the monk, doomed to play for all eternity. Rumors spread of strange occurrences at the monastery, flickering lights, eerie whispers, and ghostly apparitions. Some claim to have seen Jack's ghost, his face twisted in eternal anguish as he plays the never-ending game with the monk, while others speak of encountering the monk himself, his once serene demeanor now replaced by a malevolent and vengeful presence. One fateful night, a group of thrill-seekers decided to test their luck and ventured into the monastery, determined to challenge the monk in the cursed poker game. They entered the dimly lit basement, the air heavy with a sense of foreboding. The monk sat at the table, his piercing blue eyes locking onto them as they took their seats. The game began, and the tension quickly escalated. The monk's skills were as formidable as ever, and the players struggled to keep up. One by one, they fell, unable to match the monk's uncanny prowess. But one player, a woman named Emma, seemed to hold her own against the monk. Her determination was unshakable, and she matched him hand for hand. As the hours passed and the storm outside raged on, the game reached its climax. Emma and the monk were the last ones standing, their eyes locked in a fierce battle of wits. But just as Emma thought she had the upper hand, the monk's eyes glowed with a sinister light, and he revealed a card that sealed her fate. With a triumphant smile, the monk declared his victory. Emma's heart sank as she realized the true nature of the game. She was now trapped, destined to join Jack and countless others in the eternal poker game, a fate worse than death. As the monk's laughter echoed through the room, Emma's screams joined the chorus of tormented souls who had fallen victim to the cursed poker game. The monastery's walls seemed to close in on her, and the shadows twisted and shifted, engulfing her in darkness. And so, the legend of the cursed poker game at the monastery with the enigmatic monk continues to haunt those who hear the tale. The lure of the game and the monk's supernatural abilities remain a tantalizing temptation, but those who dare to play risk losing their souls to an eternal nightmare of never-ending poker, doomed to play against the malevolent monk for all eternity in the darkness of the haunted monastery. As Emma's screams echoed through the monastery, the air seemed to thicken, and the temperature dropped drastically. The monk's laughter grew louder, more sinister, as he reveled in his victory. But then, something unexpected happened. From the shadows, a slithering sound emerged, growing louder and closer. A thick, black, serpentine form emerged, its eyes glowing with an otherworldly intensity. It was a massive snake, with scales as dark as night and a tongue that flicked out with deadly precision. The snake moved towards the monk, its body undulating with a sinister grace. The monk's expression changed from one of amusement to one of surprise and fear. He tried to defend himself with his mystical powers, but the snake seemed immune to his abilities. With lightning speed, the snake struck, sinking its fangs into the monk's flesh. A blood-curdling scream pierced the air as the monk's body convulsed. He clawed at the snake, desperately trying to break free, but it was too late. The venom of the snake's bite coursed through his veins, and within moments, the monk collapsed, lifeless. The room fell silent, and the snake slithered back into the shadows, disappearing as mysteriously as it had appeared. Emma, still in shock from the events that had unfolded, watched as the monk's body crumpled to the floor, a look of horror frozen on his face. But the curse was not lifted. The cursed poker game was still ongoing, and Emma realized that she was now the new opponent. The room seemed to close in on her, and the shadows whispered with haunting voices. She was now trapped in the same fate as Jack and the monk, destined to play the cursed poker game for all eternity. Emma tried to resist, to find a way out, but the curse was too strong. The poker game continued, the cards dealt by unseen hands, and Emma found herself locked in a battle of skill and luck against unknown opponents. The stakes were higher than ever, and the atmosphere grew increasingly suffocating. As the hours turned into days, and days into weeks, Emma's sanity started to unravel. She saw glimpses of Jack's ghost and heard the monk's laughter in her nightmares. The snake slithered around the table, a constant reminder of the curse that had befallen her. One night, in a fit of desperation, Emma tried to make a daring move to break the curse. She pushed all her chips to the center of the table, going all in with a reckless abandon. The other players followed suit, and the tension in the room reached its peak. The cards were revealed, and Emma's heart sank. She had lost. The curse remained unbroken, and she was now forever trapped in the cursed poker game, just like Jack and the monk before her. Her fate was sealed. And so, the cursed poker game at the monastery with the snake and the malevolent monk continues to this day, with Emma now a permanent fixture at the table.